Okay, class, this is our last project for the colored pencil class. It's kind of sad, but I wanted to, I needed to do a different project than what I'd actually planned to, because this is all of the white that I have left. I hope none of y'all are in the same boat with all of our different projects using a bunch of white as the burnishing tool and stuff instead of the colorless blender, or doing the a lighter project where you just needed white to be on your colors and stuff. We go through a lot of white, so that's normal for us. I am just transferring this picture, and this will come into your email, so you can do the same thing. Normally I usually draw everything 100%, but just because practicing drawing is always such a good habit to do. I dropped a green pen, a green color onto my background there, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that out, or if I may have to put a few speckles in the background or something, but you know, it happens. Now I've done my transfer, so you're going to print off your piece, you're going to do your transfer, and we're going to do some, excuse me, some let's see, that one goes back, and we'll just put one in there. I'm just kind of making up some of these leaf shapes, you know, as long as they're long and skinny like these leaves that are on here. And what I did was the flower, I'm not doing the bud or anything. Any of these that are at the top, this is my cabinets here. But isn't that pretty? That was part of my Easter flowers, the lilies. And we are going to have to use a little bit of white into the middle parts here, and in the top parts and stuff like that, to go around the edges and whatnot to make this exact lily. But, you know, if you don't have a white or something like that, you could turn around and make that dark part, that white part, a dark, like a, you know, like a dark purple or something, and bring it in. You kind of create your own flower, or design your own colors of a flower and stuff like that. So it's kind of fun, but I'm going to go with the flower. And I have put just a few leaf shapes, and just kind of made a few up. I practiced a few colors. I am going to make mine a square. So I'm going to cut off this top part. I'll probably turn that into a bookmark or something. And then I'm going to cut off this little bit down here at the bottom. So I'm going to test colors down here to make sure they're the right ones. And I like the darks going behind the flower for most of the background. And then I'm just going to kind of lighten it up on this side, so it looks like the light's coming in from over here. And I have chosen the different colors of green. Now these are going to be my backgrounds, just the black and the dark green, but it's a olive green. And I chose these for the leaves that are going to be out into the light area. And then I'm going to use this middle green and this dark and the black for all the leaves that are going to be in the shadow part behind the lily. And so those were the colors that I chose for the greenery. And I chose these colors for my lily, and this is just pink, right? And this one is an odd one, mahogany red. I don't even know. You see the little dots? Some of those little dots were very red, and as the plant kind of matured a little bit, some of the dots on it went away. but some of the dots were a little bit redder in tone, and I may do those, I may not. And then this is a dark purple, and I'm going to use this in the shadow areas very lightly. Do you see how light that purple would be? And in this area, maybe some up here. This part up here is a darker pink, as well as in here. It looks like it has a touch of red to it, so I may use it there. I'm going to use this color into that space as well. And so those are the colors for the flower besides the white. And then just for the little stamens and pistils, the little parts of the flower that have the pollen, and then the pollen sticks onto this part and stuff like that, I'm going to use cream for the top part of this, and then I'm going to add a little white onto it. And then I'm going to bring the cream down to about, maybe an inch or so. And then I'm going to put pink on it. If you'll notice, all of the little sticks for these little stamens are pink. They're hot pink. So they're going to be the same color as the flower. But you can see that there is this lighter brown on the underside, and then a darker brown on the outside of this one. Now this one's shining out into the light, so I got this color, which is an orange. It is Spanish. Nope, mineral, sorry. It's mineral orange here, and then it's got dark brown and almost blackish brown. You'd probably get a sepia in there. And to put a little bit, just in a little bit of these others, just so it's not just on this one stamen here. And so these were the colors I chose besides pink for the sticks, for the stamens pistil. So, there's quite a few colors that we're going to use for this picture. And then I have this one, which is an odd color. Yeah, burnt henna. So I don't know if that's going to work in these areas, just to give me a little bit of a reddish tone, but don't go like super red. I might just go with a really light, little bit of cad red here in this little part, underneath here, and then a little bit right there. That's the only places I see it. I also see some gray here, a little bit of gray up underneath here, and a little bit of gray here. But I'm not so sure I want to go gray, because that will really dull the pink down. So I might use that purple color there. If I don't like it, I can always put the gray on top. So your first week, you're going to choose all your colors. You're going to print this off. You're going to transfer it on, and we're going to get our first layers of color down. And I'm just going to start with the fun part, which is this lily. But I am going to work one petal at a time, because instead of just doing, the whole thing pink, because you can look at it. Between these stamens, that's a white area, right? In between those, because there's white more in the middle. And all these little black dots and stuff like that are these, it's the pollen falling onto the flower itself and stuff. So you can actually wash pink all over this area, and then rub the white and push into the pink and stuff like that. And this is a pencil line, so I'm going to get rid of that. And then these lines here, I'm just going to barely put that purple, and then put pink right on top of it. So that's how I'm going to get started, and I'm going to do the background last, because I don't want to put my hand all in it and everything. So we're going to start with that pink really close to the edge. You probably do want to, this is Bristol board. This is the smooth paper that we have in class with the little yellow package. You probably do want to get your colorless blender and have that ready to do your burnishing and stuff. I like to kind of go in the direction of the striations of the petal, even though, you know, once you burnish that, you're not really going to see it. It's just, it kind of gives me an idea of the way the petal is formed. And so I'm going to put that in. I'm going to go almost to the edge. This is a dark purple, and I'm just going to put a little bit. A little bit goes a long way with your dark colors. And then that red is was the scarlet, crimson, sorry, that I had chosen. If I choose to use it over the henna, which I think henna's kind of a brownish red, almost like a brick or something. And so I don't really want to go through that too much. And I'm just putting a little bit, staying up on point so I don't go very far with the red. And it's right in here. So is that the henna? Oh, no. This is mahogany. Oh yeah, I was going to use that for the brown parts that I saw. Okay, yeah, sorry. I had 4 out for the flower itself, so. Anyways, so we're going to go with the light on the back half of this petal. I'm going to put the line with the red, the crimson, and I'm doing this little redder part right here, and that's going to be kind of a light shining through part, and then right on the line up to that red is going to be the darker. Sorry, that's the browner. Sorry about that. Looking through these pencil lines, since I did a transfer, is, yeah, that's definitely a brown. Just wanted to make sure. And yet there's no reason, if you ended up putting the purplier tone, it's still going to work. Still going to look good. Coming up from the bottom of this, this petal of the flower is casting a shadow on this one. So this area in here is also very red. That's not the red I wanted. Sorry. So I'm going back to the crimson, and I'll put that all in there. And then along this line, it goes even darker, and so I'm going to add that purple. And then the rest of that is going to be a harder pink than this pink out here, because the flower's kind of turned up on itself right here. The petal has kind of turned over on itself. So I'm going to press just a little bit harder just to get a brighter pink out of the same pink. And then there's going to be a whiter area of pink right there. So I'm not pressing very hard. And you're just following the shapes that you see of the different colors and the different hardness of the pressure that you need. So in some areas you're just pressing really lightly because you're going to put white on top of it, and you're going to pick up that pink and kind of smear it all around. But around this area, down into here, it's going to be pretty dark. And then it gets lighter as it goes towards that center. And then on the other side of the center, it gets darker again. And comes up. There's actually a little shadow right there. Making sure y'all can see that. Oval, oval, oval on your strokes. Make them not streaky. You know, you don't want to have streaks in your strokes. So, oh my goodness. I'm glad the background's going to be dark. I don't know where those are coming from, but so I'm going to go back to the red, and right here there is a little bit of a shadow. Stay up on the point of that, and put that red in there. Put the red right on top of the purple, and then put the pink right on top of the red. That'll kind of burnish that in and give you that really good shadow of this leaf onto that one. So if you get a large spot of color and stuff like that, you can when you're brushing it away and stuff like that, don't use your fingers. A lot of times that will cause smears to happen. I don't know if y'all can see that, but there's a smear right there. So once again, between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, I am so happy my background is going to be dark. So okay, so we're just building up. This is full of color here. So I'm actually going to put just a tad bit of purple into this petal. And notice how pale I'm pushing this color. I'm just barely pushing it on there. And then right here in this center part, going into those little, not really sure what those are. And then just a little bit out on this side as well. And then I'm actually going to burnish with the pink. Because I really think it needs to be burnished in brightly. So I don't know. I just bought a 2-pack of the colorless blenders, and they're very chalky like. I don't know if Prismacolor has changed those a little bit, excuse me, or what they've done, but every time I try to burnish with it, it scratches. They're so stiff that it's scratching the surface. They're not creamy and buttery like we're so used to with Prismacolors. And it literally scratches the color off. I was really fighting it on the lizard piece with that background. I mean, it was about to drive me nuts. And you can take a tissue, and roll off the extra color on onto the tissue if you know, if it starts building up too much color. And then I'm going to take that pink lightly out to the edge. I am completely getting rid of the white of the paper, you know, by burnishing, right? But I tell you what, the military base by us is really been active during this time. I think they're all these practicing maneuvers and whatnot are oh no, not my white. I hope I have enough white to finish this. I'm going to work on a certain area and some of the greens and stuff. If I don't end up with a white, y'all will end up knowing what to do if I can't get this white to work. Oh, sad, sad, sad. Oh, that's dark on that side. So I'm going to go back over that white with just a touch of purple. Because it is not white through there. It is definitely dark as it's kind of turning into the center part of the flower. So we're going to make that dark again. And that's the same on the other side. Yeah, it is. It's dark over on this side as well. And then the white starts right here on this curved part of this particular petal. Keep your pencil sharp, guys. As I start to wedge out like this, you just need to make sure you keep it more usable than that. Wait, what did I do with it? Oh, there it is. Okay. So I'm going to put in my white. It's picking up that pink. What that white is really going to, how that white's really going to show up is to have the dark background. You know, we always say in class, how do you make a light stand out? You know, you put a dark next to it. Okay, and then in this center part here, there is, I'm going to go put in a few little of these striations that you see on the edges as well. They kind of go in. Like this. Almost like they're headed to the center part here. And right here next to the dark, there is a light. And then this right here is coming out of this light. There is some kind of striped striations going on with the center part of the petal. And there's another white on this side. I am kind of having to push because I've got like 2 or 3 layers there. But you want to, you know, keep cleaning off your color and stuff. So we're going to put some of those striations in. Whoops. By pushing our white really lightly. And we're just going to keep building up all of our petals. I have a feeling this is not going to be, I'm not going to have enough white to finish this project. I thought I had another package of Prismacolors, and I do have another package. The only color that's missing from it, obviously, is the white. So I used it for another project, and so now kind of sad, but it's not like I can do anything about it with this everything closed up stuff, so it's what it is. Wait. Put that right up there. I'm gonna end up dropping it. This is a brand new set of Prismas that I got when Amazon was doing this unbelievable sale. Now I'm beginning to think I know why. They're not working the same as our old Prismas used to be. Where I went out right there, that's no big deal, because we're going to make that background darker. All right, and we're just softening this edge a little bit, pushing into it, moving that red back just a hair. And so we're creating the illusion of this petal having an internal shadow, and this little part right here where it's turning back on itself and everything. So I hope y'all can see that shine. It's lighter on this side. Now this darker line from my pencil that you can still see will be consumed into the darkness of the background on that as well. So for the background, I chose this really, really dark green as well as black. So now we're going to go into this little space right here is actually background. So to help me remember that, I'm going to take my dark green and just go ahead and fill it in. If it ends up being too green or something, you know, there isn't any reason I can't just come back and put a little bit of black on top. So it really pushes it into the background. Right here between the dark and the light, you should always have a blended color. So I'm going to take the pink because it's the lighter of those colors. So get rid of the black and the green, and back to this particular petal. Going close to the edges, softly, or you can go right up to the edges, really. It's not like true white, it's just a lighter pink. I do that in case there's any striations. It's going to go in the direction of the striations that are in the actual petal itself. But normally I'm just a oval, oval, oval. Going to the purple, there is a strange little square thing about right here, right there, and it's white next to it. So I shouldn't have gone that dark, but you know, I can make that go all the way up. Doesn't go all the way to the tip, so we're gonna stop it right there, and then down below it is another one that's kind of a redder tone right here. So we're gonna put that in right here, and it comes out. It's darker at the base, coming out. Should do that purple color. I'm putting in this internal shadow here. So that's going to be right in this space. We're just mapping out, whoops, can you see? We're just kind of mapping out where all of our lights, mediums, and darks are going to be. There is that's red. Down here at the base, there's this white thing that comes out. It's green, and then there's red on both sides of it. So that's going to be about right in there. And then that comes up into that darkness. Yeah, because the white and green are in here. Sure I chose that color. It's very muted green. So let's just go ahead and choose it. Is it this minty green? Oh, that looks pretty close. Let's just go with it. We're going to put a little bit of white and stuff on top of it anyway. Let's test it. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. Right next to this leaf here, there is this minty green color, and there is white coming up into each of these little parts that have the little stamens on them. Now I don't know how I missed this one and this one, but I can just go back in and draw those in. So this one is going this way, and it has like a split where it kind of does this type thing, and then that one is, this is the round part, so it goes behind this one and it's longer, and then this comes up into the back of it. Okay, so that just kind of helps us see what that is. All of these lines around these dark ones will be consumed into the dark colors, but these lines right here are pink, and this the head of this is cream color. So I'm going to lighten those lines that are going to be pink or cream. And we'll get rid of that. Going back to the sagey green color. Let's see what color this really is. Pale sage. Well, I'll be darned. Oh, that didn't sharpen at all. Okay. And it's going into this one this way and this one up into here. Okay. So we got that green. I'm going to prop it up so it's still there in case I need it for any reason. And we're going to finish up this petal by putting in by burnishing in the pink part. When I put that pink on top of that purple, the purple, I swear, gets brighter than what it was. We can always go back and tone that down a little bit, adding some grays or something. As long as we don't burnish in every bit of the paper. You know, I'm pushing a little bit harder than I did at first because it's such a light area. But I'm not pushing so hard that it's denting the paper 100%. So green coming up this? Sure was. I'm glad I left that green out. Whoops. I like this color. It's interesting. This is really pink on the back side of this green part. And the pink goes right into the red and heads in this direction. Just getting rid of a little bit more of the white of the paper. If I have to, I'll get the colors blender out. I just kind of had a bad problem with it during our gecko, our lizard. Yeah, gecko. So I really want to see what I can do with without having to use it, just because I was so frustrated with it last time. So this is the white next to the purple. It's not actually white, it's kind of a pinky white, so keep cleaning off your white in order to get that pink off. And I am having to push, you know, into this part. This is pink right here. But the red isn't showing up as much as it needs to. So we're going to add a little bit more of that. Both sides. Burnish that in with pink. That looks a lot better. I'm part of a guild, colored pencil. I just started. Just because I've been enjoying so much, and there isn't anybody in that guild that uses the Prismacolors. They've all kind of gone over to Karen Darsh, because that's the only colored pencils now that are produced that are 100% light fast. What that means is, over time, it's not going to change the colors. And certain colors are going to easily be fading and stuff than other colors are. But I knew that Prismacolor had changed their when they got bought out. They changed their recipe and how they made their colors, and so they're not 100% light fast. And you can go onto their website and it shows you exactly which ones are and which ones aren't, and you know, that kind of thing. They're still kind of pricey for no guarantee on the colors lasting, so it's kind of sad. But I went into the background again. Yep, I can push really hard and that purple is still not blending in. Okay, well, that's just not going to burnish. So I may have to go back with a little, I don't know, maybe I should just try the red on top. Give it kind of a shadowy effect without being just absolutely purple. I'm liking that. It looks pretty cool. Okay, so we're going to just keep going around. I definitely want to do this one so I can show you the stamens and stuff. So if I don't have enough white, it's barely fitting into my machine. So, and I don't have any of the holders that I have at school up, you know, here. So I am going to stop the flower and jump to some of the background and the leaves and stuff. So, all right, I'm going to go into these little areas. They are very light pink. And then the stamen itself is a darker pink. And it blends into that green, just a little bit on top. That gray right there is a pencil line. Pretty sad. I could probably put a little bit of red there and get rid of that. So, soft pink coming out on the edges where the white's going to go. And then I'm going to put a little bit of red up into this area. There's red on this side as well. And there's a little white and pink at the tip. And the red kind of comes down this side. Right along there. Then this is kind of a grayed color, a grayed pink, which I was going to use the purple, but wow, that is a vibrant purple, which I don't mind artwork not being photorealistic, but if we're trying to follow one, you kind of want to have the right tints, you know, shade or whatever you want to call it, of that color, lighter in the middle. This pink. Does need to have some pink underneath. Or the pink might need to go on top, which we can do both. Keep the tip sharp. If you've gotten a wedge and you need a sharp, just rotate it over and just use that edge of your wedge, just the tip end, to go inside there to make the pinker parts, the paler parts. And then the sticks themselves are, we're going to press hard for those. And they are come to a point. And then blend into that green. This is one going backwards, so that's a little pink back there. And that's a little pink right there. And you can't see this stamen right here. Comes in front of this pistil. I do like to keep turning my pencil so I get that that sharper edge. When doing an outline kind of thing. Now this big thick part right here is pinker at the bottom, but it starts going into the cream colors towards the top. So we're going to color that in cream. Blend that down into the pink. Kind of gives you that little bit of an orangier color. And we're going to blend the pink up into it as well. Oh, excuse me. And it's definitely whiter at the very top. Don't know if that's gonna show up whatsoever. There is a little bit, get rid of that white. There's a little bit of the red right along this side, underneath here. Kind of gives a little bit of a, like a shadow of this big thing onto the pink part. And I'm gonna cream, here it is. I'm gonna blend that in with the cream. And the bottom half of the flower is got the white coming up from it, as well as some of the edges have that white. There's a little bit of white on the top of this side over here, and then the rest of this side is going into shadow, so we won't need that. Put the white down and the cream. I have so many colors in my hands, I need to kind of get rid of some. There is a white right here in the center part, super bright pink. So I'm going to add that in as well, and then burnish the rest of it with the pink. I'm going to fling down into the white that's coming up, just kind of create a few little striations from that, from the petal of the flower. Yeah, that's where the purplier color is. I'm going to try this kind of mahogany color. See if I like it better than the purple. And there isn't any reason you couldn't go right back. Look, I can put that color right on top of the purple as well to tone down that particular color and bring it into, you know, more of a warm tone instead of so cool that purple is. Once you put the pink on, it's like the purple just vibrates. So I don't really, you know, want that for this particular flower. A little bit of it goes on the other side. And in this whole side here. So that bright pink stem for the stamens just really stands out. Let me put that dart next to it. I'm liking this color with it, with the pink. This kind of stamen color is a little bit more orange than the pinks, so I'm putting cream underneath a light layer of pink. It's just building up layers, guys. It's all about building up those layers. So you want to really work with that. Is there a white? Yes, there is. Okay. That red on the pink, so we need to get that off. And this bright pink goes down into here. Now that pink blends into the white there. But I don't want the area around these stamens to be the same color, so I'm going to go back over that with the white. I could done it with the colorless blender, but this gives a little more continuity to the piece and stuff like that. I'm going to set my pink stuff down. And I'm going to pick up my browns, and we're going to put in these little pollen parts of our flower. And, oops, I'm going to start with the mineral orange. And that's a, yes, mineral orange. And that's on this outer one all over. And I'm going to put some shadows, and then that little pod in the middle, that little cracked open part. And then I'm going to put some along this outer edge of this one. And then this one is split. So there's one here, and then there's a line on the outside as well. But right in the dead center is going to be black. Then this one has a little bit here at the top. This one has a little bit on the outside. That's pretty much it. This one has a little bit on the top as well. So this is going to be kind of the highlight of the brown sections. Now we're going to come into the bottom half of this first one here. And it's definitely round. I get that shape back in there. And then the dead center part is this really dark umber. You don't have dark umber, you can just use black, or you can use a black first, like a medium pressure, and then put a harder pressure on with brown. So you mix the two, you kind of mix in the two colors together. That's the dark part of that one. So then I need the medium color coming around that pink, where the pink attaches to the back. So you need to have 3 or 4, colors in each of these. So there is a, where that highlight is, that's where the split is. So I'm going to bring it down just a little bit farther. And take the dark and put a little line down inside there. And then I'm going to take the white and go on the outside to really make that show up. Okay, there we go. Get rid of the white. The rest of that is pretty dark. So we're going to go around down into this part because it's in shadow. Then I'm going to burnish that brown with the medium, especially as it blends up into that top part there. There is a little bit of pink in this area, the bottom half of this little thing. So I'm going to put that in while I'm there. This one is mostly the medium. There might be a little bit of dark, but we're going to just kind of burnish that in, the medium color. There's a little bit of brown on the other side of where the stick goes into the back half of the, it's like it's coming up like this, and you can see the stick coming out of the back. And there is a little bit of dark right in the dead center. So we can put that in while we're here. Might as well. This one has the light color all the way to the top, and then there's a dark, kind of like it's split like a coffee bean looking piece, and then it's dark on the back side. And then it's the medium brown up into there. Same with this one. It's medium brown for most of it. And right at the split, it's the dark brown, and right where it comes into the stem, it is the dark brown as well. Well, that got a little bit bigger, but that's okay. I can make it smaller when I do the background because it's going to be super, super dark. I'm going to varnish this a little bit better as we go. So when I do this one, now since I'm probably not going to have enough white to do this, if I'm going to add any white at all to the greens and everything, then I'm going to stop with the pink until I get through a little bit more. So I'm going to do some of these greens, and notice that it's brighter greens over here, and then it's really darker greens over here. I'm not going to do this bud of a flower that's, you know, not opened up yet, but I just left that out and kind of faked a leaf shape. So all I did was took this leaf shape and brought it up, and then put a second one in behind it right there, just so it just has that leaf shape.